Competition for Lift Technology for Wooden Nagoya Castle Towers Explanatory video. Hello, we are at the Nagoya Castle General Administration Office would like to express our appreciation for your interest in the competition for lift technology for Wooden Nagoya Castle Towers. I'd like to begin explaining the open application process for this project. Due to the COVID-19 situation, we cannot provide explanations in person, so we have chosen to use this online approach. Questions will be accepted during the Q&A stage of the application process. If you have any questions regarding this video, please submit them during that stage. We'll begin our explanation of the contents of this open application process with the following slide. Contents. Today, we will be explaining the items shown on this slide. In addition to the general overview of the project period, the overview of the application period, the overview of the deliberation period, and the overview of the implementation period, you will also be able to see the statement of requirements and the evaluation criteria. This presentation will conclude with an explanation of application procedures. 1. Overview. 1. Background and objectives. First are the background and objectives of this technology competition. In 1932, Nagoya Castle was designated a historic site under the former Historic Site, Scenic Beauty and Natural Monument Preservation Act. In 1952, it was designated as a special historic site under the current Cultural Properties Protection Act. In 1930, the towers of Nagoya Castle, which was completed in 1612, became the first castle construction selected as a national treasure under the former National Treasure Act. But in 1945, it was destroyed in an air raid. In 1959, it was rebuilt with its current steel-reinforced concrete structure. However, over half a century has passed since then, and various problems such as concrete degradation, aging facilities, and insufficient earthquake proofing have become evident. The Nagoya Castle Towers maintenance project aims to restore the castle towers to their former wooden form. Not only does it seek to solve these problems currently faced by the castle towers, but it also aims to promote greater understanding of the intrinsic value of Nagoya Castle, a special historic site, and improve its tourism allure, along with a restored Homaru Palace by performing a historically faithful restoration based on abundant historical materials. Furthermore, it is important that it is made barrier-free so that everyone, regardless of their ability, can enjoy this cultural treasure. The restoration must therefore be historically faithful to the original wooden castle towers, while also being barrier-free. Based on the background presented on the previous page, lift technologies are being set from around the world with the aim of producing a historically faithful restoration while also providing barrier-free access by enabling visitors to travel up and down the reconstructed wooden castle towers. The objective of this lift technology competition is the installation of lift technologies in the reconstructed wooden castle towers. The city of Nagoya formulated the policy on auxiliary facilities for traveling up and down the wooden castle towers on May 30, 2018. This technology competition is based on this policy on lift facilities at the wooden castle towers. Furthermore, the additional resolution on the bill to revise the Act on the Promotion of Smooth Transportation, etc. of elderly persons, disabled persons, etc. was enacted by the House of Representatives Committee on Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism on April 3, 2020, and by the House of Councilors Committee on Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism on May 12, 2020, and the technology competition is based on the spirit of this resolution. For details regarding the policy on auxiliary facilities for traveling up and down the wooden castle towers, and the additional resolution on the bill to revise the Act on the Promotion of Smooth Transportation, etc., of elderly persons, disabled persons, etc., please refer to Section 123, Basic Policy of the Guidelines for Application. 2. Technologies being set and examples of envisioned technologies. Next, let's look at the technologies being set and examples of envisioned technologies. The city of Nagoya is looking for technologies that could be used to transport people from the ground floor of the main castle tower or from ground level to the highest possible level of the tower. These technologies are shown at right, but these examples are not intended to interfere with the applications for technologies that do not include these technologies. 2. Project period. 1. Overview. Next, let's talk about the participation requirements. The process for deploying lift technologies will progress in step with the Nagoya Castle Towers maintenance project. First, in 2022, this lift technology competition will be held. From 2023, lift technologies will be developed and installed in the Wooden Castle Towers during the implementation period. Here is an overview of the competition period. Once the competition begins, there will be meetings of technical advisors, whose aim is to verify the safety and effectiveness of the technologies. Questions will also be accepted and replied to during this period. After the statement of participation and application documents are submitted, there will be workshops to gather opinions and requests from users, and then technology dialogues where this information will be shared with the competition participants. Based on the user opinions and requests, there will be an opportunity for participants to revise their application documents and submit the revised documents. Screening will then be performed to select the overall winner. 2. Details. Here, we'll focus on the key dates in the competition period. The guidelines for application and other materials were released when the technology competition began. Questions regarding their contents may be submitted between late April and mid-June 2022. Information regarding how to submit questions and specific deadlines will be explained later. Meetings of technical advisors, whose aim is to verify the safety and effectiveness of the technologies, will be carried out in parallel with a question and answer period. After the statement of participation and application documents are submitted, there will be workshops to gather opinions and requests from elderly users, users with disabilities, and other users. Competitors will then participate in technology dialogues and submit revised and improved application documents in mid-November. Screening will take place in early December, and the overall winner will be selected in late December. This will be followed by roughly 3 months of deliberation, and then the project will advance to the lift technology development and installation stage. 3. Overview of the competition period. Next, let's look at an overview of the competition period. First, we'll start with the information provided by the City of Nagoya. 1. Information provided by the City of Nagoya. The City of Nagoya individually discloses the following information for use as reference information during technical development. This information is accurate as of the current time, so please note that there may be partial changes as the design process advances. Competition participants wishing for disclosure of the information provided by the City of Nagoya must submit the following documents by the submission deadline. If you wish to disclose information to a third party in order to deliberate about the technologies you will propose, please submit Form 225, the Notice of Disclosure of Materials to secondary recipients of disclosed information. 2. Q&A. Next, let's talk about the Q&A. There will be 2 Q&A periods. Questions regarding the technology competition can be submitted using Form 1 question form. Please submit this form by email to the address shown below. Answers will be posted on the technology competition website. 3. Meetings of technical advisors. Meetings of technical advisors are scheduled to be held during 2 periods, one in June and one in July. At the meetings of technical advisors designated by the City of Nagoya will provide consultation before application documents are submitted regarding matters such as the verification of the safety and effectiveness of technologies. Competition participants must have submitted the document indicated in Note 2 of Table 11 in the 824 List of Forms section of the Guidelines for Application. These meetings are currently being envisioned as being conducted online. If there are any supplementary materials you wish to use during the meetings of technical advisors, please submit them by the submission deadline designated for the respective meeting of technical advisors. The meeting of technical advisors will be carried out based on the contents of Form 22621 items for discussion in the meeting of technical advisors, submitted in advance. Competition participants are prohibited from stating the names of the companies or organizations to which they belong. Competition participants may ask questions directly to technical advisors and revise direct responses during the meetings of technical advisors, but official answers will be sent in writing at a later date. Competition participants wishing to participate in meetings of technical advisors must submit the following documents. Next, let's go over the statement of participation and the application documents. 4. Statement of participation. Those wishing to take part in the competition must submit the following documents by the submission deadlines. Documents which have already been submitted do not need to be resubmitted when requesting the disclosure of information provided by the City of Nagoya or when you declare your intent to take part in meetings of technical advisors. 5. Application documents. Competing participants must submit the following documents by the submission deadlines. Participants wishing to use the STEP Nagoya must submit an agreement concerning the use of STEP Nagoya. Next, let's discuss the workshops. Workshops will be held twice in roughly September. 6. Workshops. At the workshops, technology overviews submitted by competition participants will be displayed, and feedback and requests, such as potential improvements and problems as seen from the perspectives of users and others, will be collected. Now, let's talk about the technology dialogues. 7. Technology dialogues. The objective of the technology dialogues is to consult regarding submitted application documents and make partial revisions to application documents. The revised application documents can be submitted. The opinions and requests gathered through the workshops will be shared with the competition participants in the technology dialogues. If, as the result of the technology dialogues, there are any elements in the application documents which have potential for improvement, the Secretariat may issue improvement requests as necessary and request that the competition participant submits a revised application document. Please note that if required standards are not met, the Secretariat may choose not to screen the proposal. An overview of the technology dialogues will be made public, excluding information which the competition participant wishes to keep confidential. Now, let's discuss screening. 8. Screening. The objective of the screening is to select the overall winner. Screening will be performed by jurors who are experts in their fields. The overall winner will be selected by the City of Nagoya based on the results of the screening by the jurors. Screening will be performed following the revised application document submission deadline after confirming the participation qualifications of competition participants. If a competition participant is not found to meet the minimum requirement standards, the competition participant's application will not be screened. After confirming that competition participants meet the minimum requirement standards, screening will be performed based on the scoring requirement standard, and the score will be assigned Please note that competition participants whose total score for the 8 items in the barrier-free usability category of the scoring requirement standard is less than 240 out of the maximum score of 400 will be ineligible for selection as the winning competition participant. Screening will consist of a document screening and a presentation screening. The document screening will be based on the application documents. For the presentation screening, competition participants who wish to do so may use reference materials, etc., and give a presentation. The jurors will ask questions and revise the competition participant's score if necessary. The Secretariat will select the overall winner based on the finalized scores. Presentation may be given online or in person. Competition participants may use the STEP Nagoya for purposes such as prototype operation testing, etc. Please feel free to film prototype testing, etc., and use the edited footage as a reference material for presentation screening. Competition participants will be notified of the screening results, and the result will be published on the technology competition website, etc. 4. Overview of the deliberation period. After selecting the overall winner, the City of Nagoya and the overall winner will engage in deliberations in order to decide the terms of the contract for the development and installation of lift technology. The City of Nagoya and the overall winner will conclude a basic agreement that stipulates terms such as engaging in deliberations necessary for the development and installation of lift technologies. They will deliberate regarding the basic agreement and the contract for development of lift technology and reach an agreement on the contents of the contract by the end of March 2023. 5. Overview of the implementation period. 1. Lift technology development. Next, let's look at an overview of the implementation period. After the City of Nagoya and overall winner complete their deliberations, they will sign the basic agreement and the contract for development in preparation for implementation. The maximum contract amount will be 80 million yen, including taxes, and the amount will be decided based on the estimate submitted during the deliberation period. In the submitted estimate, include expenses incurred before concluding the contract for installation of lift technology. Lift technology development is envisioned as including the development of technologies, including the creation of prototypes that reflect input from users, as well as obtaining required safety certification permits and licenses. Optimally, competition participants should obtain all permits and licenses, etc., within 5 years. 2. Lift technology installation. The overall winner will conclude a contract with the City of Nagoya for installation of lift technology. The maximum contract amount will be 200 million yen, including taxes, and the amount will be decided based on the estimate submitted before concluding the contract. In the submitted estimate, include expenses incurred until the technologies installed in the reconstructed Wooden Castle Towers are operational. The installation of the lift technologies is envisioned as including the updating of the technologies, the manufacturing of actual devices, the installation in the Wooden Castle Towers, test operation before publicly revealing the technologies, etc. 3. Adoption of technologies other than those proposed by the overall winner. If, in addition to the overall winner, there are other technologies which are deemed to have the potential to be effective in complementing the technologies of the overall winner, those technologies may be adopted in accordance with the policy on auxiliary facilities for traveling up and down the Wooden Castle Towers, and a contract for lift technologies development and a contract for installation of lift technology may be concluded for the technology within the budget of the program. 6. Statement of requirements. Now, let's discuss the statement of requirements. 1. Overview. The statement of requirements is part of the guidelines for application. It contains the standards that City of Nagoya requires of competition participants. Note that these are not the standards that apply when the technologies are ultimately installed, but the standards as of the time of screening. The minimum requirements are the required standards that must all be met by applicants before screening. Scoring requirement standards are standards used to select better suited lift technologies. 2. Minimum required standards. There are 6 minimum required standards: feasibility, safety, cost, barrier-free usability, historical accuracy, and operation. 3. Scoring requirement standards. There are 9 scoring requirement standards: new technologies, feasibility, safety, cost, barrier-free usability, historical accuracy, operation, versatility, and overall. 7. Evaluation criteria. 1. Overview. The evaluation criteria indicate the method used to select the overall winner and are part of the guidelines for application. If any of the minimum required standards are not met, the application will not be screened. Scores are determined using a 5-point scale for each of the scoring requirement standards. The total of these scores will be the competition participant score. Please note that competition participants whose total score for the 8 items in the barrier-free usability category of the scoring requirement standard is less than 240 out of the maximum score of 400 will be ineligible for selection as the winning applicant. 2. Minimum required standards. The evaluation criteria minimum required standards are identical to the minimum required standards explained in the Statement of Requirements section, so they will be omitted here. 3. Scoring requirement standards. Scores will be assigned for each item in the scoring requirement standards. Scoring will be performed on a 5-point scale. Of the 9 categories, the barrier-free usability category counts for the largest number of points. Next, let's talk about the application procedures. 8. Application procedures, etc. 1. Participation requirements. All of the following requirements must be met by the deadline for the submission of revised application documents. Multiple applicants can combine to form a consortium as necessary. When a consortium is formed, one of the parties must serve as its representative, and all of the members of the consortium must meet all of the requirements. 2. Submitting multiple proposals with different technologies and submitting proposals combining multiple technologies. We hope that a broad range of technologies are submitted to the technology competition by competition participants with multiple exceptional technologies, so proposals may include multiple technologies. Furthermore, proposals consisting of combinations of multiple technologies by the same competition participant will be accepted. This concludes the explanation of the technology competition. We're looking forward to seeing your proposals.